This is a statue of one of the most famous boxers in the history of the sport, Roberto Duran. I'm in Panama City, Panama, in the neighborhood of El Cangrejo. Now this statue sits on Via Argentina, very close to the intersection of Avenue Central. Across the street, or at this intersection, is Avenue Fabrica. And actually, Roberto Duran still lives in the neighborhood, just a few blocks from this location. So I was just walking down the street, just exploring the neighborhood. And I just so happened to come down this particular street. And I actually got to meet Roberto Duran. And if you're lucky enough, you might meet him too. He's a very nice gentleman. Now, Roberto Duran was a world title holder in 4 different weight classes. He was a boxer from 1968 all the way until 2001. Only one other boxer in the history of the sport boxed longer than Roberto Duran. So he had an absolute amazing career. Probably the most famous fight of his career was against Sugar Ray Leonard. He actually fought Sugar Ray Leonard 3 times. And in 1980, I think it was during the 8th round, Roberto Duran had been suffering cramps. And so as the 8th round started, he came on the mat and said, "No mas." He said he wanted no more. Probably his most famous match, although he did not lose a single boxing match from 1972 until 1980. So that's pretty amazing. All right, so we're getting very close to where Roberto Duran lives today. Let me spin the camera around. So I was just walking up the street here, and what I was doing is making a walk around the perimeter of El Cangrejo. And I was actually noticing more of this condominium complex than anything else around it, La Florida. And I thought how neat of a place that looked like. But just a short distance away, I also stumbled upon Roberto Duran's house. Now, how did I know that it was his house? Well, you can't miss it, because he has a garage out front with several expensive cars, and also pictures of some of his most famous boxing matches. So we're almost to Roberto Duran's house. Right here is where the boxing great lives. So you can see this is a garage type area. Shows his some of his boxing scenes. There is Rocky. He's posing with Sylvester Stallone. Also Sugar Ray Leonard over here. A couple of other great matches. Look at this pretty cool car here. And you have these stone statues out front of his house. And when I was walking by, I noticed a gentleman by the front door talking to a group of people right by his Rolls Royce. And so I waited until he was done and asked if it was Roberto Duran, and it was. And I got to meet one of the great champions of all time. So if you are ever out and about in Panama City in the neighborhood of El Cangrejo, a great neighborhood full of restaurants, things to do, you might just get to meet one of the greatest boxers in the history of the sport.